Hey, drag fans, please listen up.
I'm Alaska.
And my name is Willem.
And we are the hosts of Race
Chaser,
the premier and preeminent RuPaul's Drag Race recap podcast. And if you aren't listening to this podcasting behemoth yet, start right now.
Because it's 2023 and we have weekly coverage of the all-new episodes from the season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Every Wednesday, we will discuss, dissect, and disseminate all of the juiciest moments, wildest runway looks, and the shadiest reality TV twists of the best show on television, Drag Race.
Race Chaser with Alaska and Willem is the ultimate backstage pass for both drag obsessives and new fans alike. So don't wait. Find us on your podcast apps and listen.
Check out new episodes of Race Chaser every Wednesday and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you.
Welcome to Mom and Dad Are Fighting, Slate's parenting podcast for Thursday, April 27th, the Mysterious Gifts edition. I'm Jamilah Lemieux, a writer, contributor to Slate's Care and Feeding Parenting column, and mom to Naima, who is 10, and we live in Los Angeles.
I'm Zach Rosen. I am host of The Best Advice Show. It's another podcast. And I am dad to Noah, who's 5.5, and Ami, who's 2.5. We live in Detroit, Michigan.
I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom of 3 littles, Henry, who's 11, Oliver, who's 8, and Teddy, who's 6. We live in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Today on the show, we've got the case of the mysterious gifts. Our letter writer received gifts hand-delivered from a stranger for her young girls. The presents seem to be from a mother-in-law who is largely out of the picture. We're also going to touch base on our week in parenting, and if you stick around for Slate Plus, we're going to figure out how good of a parent ChatGPT would be. Are we going to be rendered obsolete by this?
Parents. I mean.
But the thing is, ChatGPT can't be empathetic. It can just tell us to be empathetic. So we haven't lost our jobs quite yet.
Not only will you get to hear that fun segment, but as a Slate Plus member, you'll get a whole bonus segment every week. Plus, you get to listen to all your favorite Slate podcasts ad-free. It's truly the best way to listen and the best way to support the show. You can sign up for Slate Plus now at slate.com/momanddadplus. All right, we're going to jump into triumphs and fails as soon as we get back from this short break.
You may know Kelly Ripa from hosting the Live with Kelly and Ryan show for the last 20 years. Now you can get to know her in a whole new way by listening to her podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa. This weekly podcast will transport you inside the unfiltered mind of Kelly Ripa. In each episode, Ripa will dive deep into her life and candidly discuss her marriage, motherhood, career, and how she manages to juggle it all in the public eye. Kelly will talk about everything she could never say on camera. It'll be unfiltered and deep, but most of all, fun. Joined by a rotating group of friends like Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson, Kelly dives into a wide range of topics. They'll talk about everything from crazy fitness trends to sex tips, all with humor, heart, and tenacity. So whether you're a longtime Kelly fan or just looking for a great new show, this podcast is perfect for you. Listen to Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa every Wednesday on Apple, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
You may know Kelly Ripa from hosting the Live with Kelly and Ryan show for the last 20 years. Now you can get to know her in a whole new way by listening to her podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa. This weekly podcast will transport you inside the unfiltered mind of Kelly Ripa. In each episode, Ripa will dive deep into her life and candidly discuss her marriage, motherhood, career, and how she manages to juggle it all in the public eye. Kelly will talk about everything she could never say on camera. It will be unfiltered and deep, but most of all fun. Joined by a rotating group of friends like Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson, Kelly dives deep into a wide range of topics. They'll talk about everything from crazy fitness trends to sex tips, all with humor, heart, and tenacity. So whether you're a longtime Kelly fan or just looking for a great new show, this podcast is perfect for you. Listen to Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa every Wednesday on Apple, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And we're back. Let's start with you, Zach. What have you been up to this week?
Just yelling at my son.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm going to talk about. Well, it was one time this past week. And I feel like since I've become a parent, my patience has definitely gotten better. Like I have become aware of a short fuse that I didn't even realize I had before I became a dad and have tempered it. and like consciously work on it. But last week, Ami just kept asking for more butter on his toast to the point where it was like, bro, you've asked me like 4 times. I keep putting butter on your toast. There's plenty of butter. Ami, there's enough butter. And he just like kept asking for more. And then when I finally said like no more butter after like the 4th spread, he just lost it. He was just so inconsolable. And it was the morning and I just was not at my best. And I just like stared right back at him. I'm like, Ami, no more butter. Enough. And that just made it so much worse. I was monstrous in that moment. And little Noah Angel, she's like Ami's bodyguard. She said, Dad, you don't have to be so stern with him. Which was so sweet that she was protecting him. And I was just so embarrassed and not at my best. And then on the way to school, I apologized. And I'm like, Ami, I'm really sorry for that. And he said, Daddy yelled at me 2 times. He's been doing this. Like he holds up like all 5 fingers, but he's not great at counting yet. But he's like, Daddy yelled at me 2 times. I'm like, yeah, Ami, I'm so sorry. I really apologize. I was, frustrated that you kept asking for more butter. I felt that you had enough butter. And I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. So I did apologize, but absolutely no need for me to become a monster when my son asks for more butter.
In Ami's defense, was there butter on every crevice of the bread? Because I personally cannot stand getting a bite of dry toast without butter. I need butter all over my bread.
I feel you. I agree. I believe in an even distribution of butter. I had done that, and I think the issue is it melts, and he thinks it disappears.
Yeah, they can't see it. That's happened to us.
Yeah.
And they want to see it.
Yeah.
The butter is gone.
It is seeped into the foundation of the toast, but he doesn't quite get that yet. So yes, it was covered all too well.
I feel being called out by your daughter is what really hurts.
I loved it. Yeah, it was great. I was proud of her for that.
Do you have a plan though for tomorrow when he wants more butter?
Do I have a plan? I guess not. I mean, I know that I'm not going to scream if he does keep asking, but beyond that, I don't know. What would you do?
Or what if you like put some on his plate and let him, so you butter it and then you put a little and you say like, oh, well, you can do it. This is the butter you get and you may distribute that however, even because he won't do a good job, but you've already buttered the toast. So
he'll probably just take that butter and eat it like a pill, which I'm fine with too.
It's good for your brain, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll try that. Just give him a little side of extra butter.
That's a great idea. All right, Elizabeth, what about you?
Okay,
Triumph or fail?
I have a fail, like an epic back to new camp fail. We hosted this weekend the Run Wild My Child scavenger hunt, and we picked this beautiful park that has like 417 acres, 4 miles of trails to hide this treasure chest in for other families to come find. We woke up that morning and there was snow everywhere. Snow. But we were committed. The like clue was going out from them. So I went to the park and hid the box. Went great. I couldn't believe like 20 families showed up. They're hunting for this box. They find the box. We're all hanging out. And I can kind of see that my children who didn't hunt for the box are playing across this little lake, and their ski clothes are all bright colors so we can find them. I like see them playing. Great. I chat. All of a sudden, Henry comes over and says, hey, have you seen Oliver and Teddy? And I was like, oh, they're over playing. He's like, no, I found the snow tube over there, but I can't find them. And I'm like, yeah, all right, it's fine. We just saw them. I chat for like another 10 minutes. I meet this woman actually who knows me from the show and had all these wonderful things to say. And in the middle of chatting with her, my son comes back over now with a mom because my 2 kids and 1 other child is missing. Like, hey, we really do not know where they are. We have like walked back up to the box. We've walked around the lake. They are not here. I'm like, okay, I'm sure they're fine. We come to this park all the time. We do decide, though, at this point that the people that are there, like, split up and look for them. So now this event I'm hosting has turned into, let's hunt for the new camp
Search
children.
party.
So we head out on the trails. Jeff heads out. One of the dads that our kids know stays, like, where we were all meeting, thinking maybe they'll come back. You know, if Henry had been with them, I would have been sure that they would eventually find their way back. But Jeff finally calls probably like 25 minutes later saying he has found them. They had set up a small camp, like built a lean-to, were collecting snowballs for water. Oliver had a staff and was defending the property. They did hear us, but in their world of make-believe decided that we were against them. We were coming to raid their camp, and they hid in their lean-to as we all passed by calling for them.
So you passed them?
Oh, yes, all of us.
Wow.
They were actually not that far from the parking lot, but they had built, no joke, this like lean-to that you could, because of all the snow, we really couldn't see. And because all the kids had been hiking, like running around looking for the treasure, we couldn't really follow the footprints. Although it was footprints that finally Jeff found 3 sets of kids' footprints together, kind of headed off sort of the path. And so followed those, and that's how we found the lean-to where they all were. The kicker is I have lost my children at this park before. This is not the first time this has happened where I've become separated. There's no cell phone service at this park.
That is pretty scary.
We had a little talk about, I mean, in their defense, they were like, we were not far from the parking lot. We could hear you. It was like, yes, our rule, though, is when you can hear us. Now, we have like a little code that if I blow the safety whistle twice, everyone has to come. I did not have a safety whistle with me because I did not anticipate us hiking. I just thought we were going to hang out at this like kind of open area by the lake. Yes.
Safety whistle is a very good idea.
That is a good idea.
I've been anti-tracker for a long time, but I'm thinking now. I thought we were at the point where common sense was there, but maybe not. Jamilah, how was your week?
This week was a little uneventful. So I have a fail. I guess it's a fail. It feels like a fail from a few weeks ago that I've been holding on to. This was right before Easter, maybe on the day of Easter. And Naima was disappointed because, you know, usually she's with her father on Sundays, but we'd gone to that New Edition concert. So she'd spent the night with me. And so typically she's been with her dad on Sunday mornings for years at this point. And so apparently, even though none of us are Christian, at his house, they usually do some sort of Easter egg hunt and have baskets, right? And who did actually get to do Easter egg stuff as a kid, for whatever reason, I just never picked that up. I was like, we don't do this. We don't do Easter baskets. We just, we do all the other holidays. It's fine. But I just never did anything for her for Easter. And so she woke up asking about it, and I realized that she was really disappointed. And so I was going to try to do Easter stuff, but everything was closed because it was Easter. So that's fine. But she also asked me is Santa real? Is the Easter Bunny real? Is the Tooth Fairy real? She just comes out with boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, well, and she's like, because, I saw a gift that Santa gave me in your closet before Christmas. And at that point, I knew I was caught, and I knew she kind of had an idea where I knew she knew where I hid her gifts, but I kind of hoped that she didn't look, and I did my best to kind of try to hide the Santa gifts better than the ones that were coming from me. And
yeah,
I was just like, no, they're not, and usually what I've been telling her for these last couple of years, because Naima's 10. So I knew we were rounding out, this was going to be the end of the Santa era, the end of the Tooth Fairy soon. So what I told her before was as long as you believe it's real, do you believe? And this time I just was, she caught me off guard, and I was just honest. And it was so disappointing for her. She was like, all the holidays are ruined now. It's not going to be the same anymore.
No.
What did you say? I was just like, I'm sorry.
But that New Edition concert was great.
Wasn't New Edition great? So I've been feeling bad about this. And I told her, I was like, you have to keep this from your brother. She has a younger brother. And so.
How old is he?
He is 8.
Right.
So he's coming up right behind her. But, I don't know. I just feel bad. Like I took something away from her. I mean, again, like she's 10. I didn't, like I don't know how much more of this she was really going to have.
Right. I think it was inevitable. And she has since come back to life, I would imagine. Like, was it?
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
She's not still mad at you.
No.
She can be part of the fun of some of this stuff now, though. And
like
you can
she's
share
an adult
that.
now.
You know what I mean? Like she can find something for her brother and put it under the tree with, those sort of things.
Yeah.
Part of the magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a real rite of passage, getting that bubble burst.
It is.
All at once.
I was about her age. I know she had to go for them all at once. I think for me it was kind of the same thing. Like once one doesn't exist, it's like, okay, so none of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't like, am I still getting money for these teeth?
Surprisingly enough, she didn't. She didn't ask about that.
I have some logistical questions.
It's the end of an era. My
the end of
baby's growing
innocence.
up.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to take another quick break. We'll see you right back here for our listener question.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you're driving, cooking, or doing laundry, Progressive knows the podcasts you listen to go best when they're bundled with another activity, much like how their Progressive home and auto policies go best when they're bundled. Having these two policies together makes taking care of your insurance easier and could help you save too. Customers who save by switching their home and car insurance to Progressive save nearly $800 on average. That's a whole lot of savings and protection for your favorite podcast listening activities, like going on a road trip, cooking dinner, and even hitting the gym. Yep, your home and your car are even easier to protect when you bundle your insurance together. Find your perfect combo. Get a home and car insurance quote at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $793 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary.
Hey, drag fans, please listen up.
I'm Alaska.
And my name is Willem.
And we are the hosts of Race
Chaser,
the premier and preeminent RuPaul's Drag Race recap podcast. And if you aren't listening to this podcasting behemoth yet, start right now.
Because it's 2023 and we have weekly coverage of the all-new episodes from the season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Every Wednesday, we will discuss, dissect, and disseminate all of the juiciest moments, wildest runway looks, and the shadiest reality TV twists of the best show on television, Drag Race.
Race Chaser with Alaska and Willem is the ultimate backstage pass for both drag obsessives and new fans alike. So don't wait. Find us on your podcast apps and listen.
Check out new episodes of Race Chaser every Wednesday and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Heidecker. You know me, Tim and Eric, Bridesmaids, and Fantastic Four. I'd like to personally invite you to listen to Office Hours Live with me and my co-hosts, DJ Doug Pound.
Hello.
And Vic Berger.
Howdy.
Every week we bring you laughs, fun, games, and lots of other surprises. It's live. We take your Zoom calls.
Music.
We love having fun. Excuse me?
Songs. Vic said something. Music.
Songs.
Music.
I like having fun. I like to laugh. I like to meet people who can make me laugh. Please subscribe now.
We're back and ready to hear today's listener question. Dear Mom and Dad are fighting. My husband and his mother have been estranged for 6 years. This occurred before we had children. Due to a variety of reasons, a relationship was no longer a healthy or safe relationship to continue. My husband and I now have 2 young daughters. Over the years, my mother-in-law has occasionally sent a birthday card or gift for the girls. Most of the time, these cards or gifts are accompanied by an irate or belligerent email or text to my husband, refueling the divide and leading us to conclude that the outreach to our daughters is not genuine or heartfelt. Today, a man neither my husband nor I know pulled into our driveway and sat there watching. I work from home and my office faces the street, so I watched him from my window cautiously. After 10 to 15 minutes, this man got out of the car and put boxes of wrapped gifts on our doorstep and then left. Of course, very curious, I opened one box and found a card addressed to my daughters from my mother-in-law. A slew of emotions overcame me. I felt uneasy, violated even, that a stranger had hand-delivered these things for my young daughters. Even knowing the sender, my mother-in-law, didn't make me feel comforted. Why hadn't she sent these by mail like all the times before? Why was she sending a stranger to my house? Why was he sitting there watching? I'm trying to logically unpack these feelings. I don't mind that she sends my daughter things. I do mind that a person I don't know came to my home. I can't get over this sense that a boundary has been crossed. I don't know what boundary, though. My maternal instinct is tingling. I just feel off. Should I be concerned? Thanks, stranger danger. What do you think, Zach? Santa did show up.
Yeah, Santa.
Santa. Oh my God. Yeah, I do feel like this is concerning. This is an odd story, and because you said that years ago you realized that a relationship with her is no longer healthy or safe. I don't know what that means because we don't know the particulars, but that safe piece in particular here, I think is noteworthy, and it's hard for us to appraise what's really happening here. But having a weirdo in front of your house does seem odd. So yeah, this is odd behavior. I think your husband needs to communicate with his mother some boundaries here, and maybe even get like a conflict mediator involved. But I think it's totally legitimate that your maternal instinct is tingling, and I think you deserve some answers here about what your mother-in-law's motivations are. That's where I'll start.
Yeah, I think those maternal instincts, parental instincts, those personal tinglings you get are always good to follow, right? We have them for a reason. Because I think even if you're wrong that all of this is benign, there's no harm in making sure boundaries are clear and making sure your kids are safe. So I don't think you should feel bad about any of this. I do wonder, is it possible that this was like a delivery person driving their own car or some kind of rental car that they were lost at a house? Packages
like an unmarked Amazon car, and the guy's just like having his lunch.
Yeah, or sometimes the post office now even comes in, like they've subcontracted out to someone else, and they're he's doing some kind of work. I'm not sure if that is a possibility. Like maybe this is some kind of delivery service. The guy was super weird to park in your driveway. And it's not as bad as you think it is. I would sit with your uncomfortableness on this whole thing, think about where those boundaries are, and make sure that the boundaries you have set, even if it's just an email to say, or a letter or whatever you want to say, like, hey, these are the boundaries that we need as a family, so that you have set those in stone, and then you will know if they're stepped over, right? Like if she's not obeying those, that's a very different situation than she's not really sure what the boundaries are, because sometimes you take the gifts, sometimes you don't. I'm not saying any of that is right, but I am saying if she doesn't know where that line is, it's hard to say, like, has she crossed a boundary? Has she not? Was this person related to her or someone that she hired to bring the gifts, right? Like there's a lot of gray area here. It's weird though. I'm all on board for this whole thing being weird.
It is weird. The only thing I can think of is perhaps a TaskRabbit.
Oh, yes.
That's a service where you can hire someone to run errands from you. I mean, she could have hired this person to wrap the gifts and deliver them.
Yeah.
And it would just be a regular person with no uniform, unmarked car. I do think they have background checks on them, so it's supposed to be, somewhat safe. I think. I've let a lot of TaskRabbits in my house, so I hope so.
Yeah, same.
But so it is a common service, so it may not be as weird as it looks. But I think it is, a violation of a boundary that you've already set, that your husband is estranged from her. And so generally these gifts or cards from your daughter come with, her nasty commentary and more evidence of why you should be estranged. So I think I agree with Elizabeth that, your husband should reach out and talk again about boundaries. And perhaps the boundary is don't send things here.
Which is totally fine. I think that's a totally fine boundary, but I think you should be clear about it.
You should be clear about it. I think sending things to your daughter has been her way of staying present, of staying connected to her son. And for whatever reason, he has decided that is something he's unable to do. And so I think it needs to be a cleaner break instead of leaving room open for her to feel like, when a holiday comes up, and this is not it's not holiday season and you haven't mentioned it being your child's birthday. So that she can just kind of randomly insert herself into your lives in this way. So I think it's time to let her know that these gifts are not appreciated.
An Amazon driver just showed up to my door. I swear to God.
Are they uniformed? Let's see.
They're uniformed. They're in a sanctioned truck. Yeah. Because that is the whole unmarked delivery car is a strange fact of life now. And I totally get why that would be alarming.
Especially the waiting, because what a TaskRabbit or whomever could have done, this could have been a friend of hers, this could be someone she knows, like just got out the car, put the boxes on the doorstep, and then immediately left. So to wait 10 or 15 minutes, was he trying to make sure he didn't see you all? Like if you were home, what was the point of him waiting? You know what I mean?
Or worst case, right? He's like in a partnership or something with her. And part of the thing was, can you look and see what's going on? Right. I think that was the first thing I was thinking. Scenario is like, if they're out front, get out and give them to, like, I think there are really bad. We're trying to say like, hey, it might not have been that bad, but like it also could have been that bad.
It could have.
Lots of variables here. And with a checkered past with someone, like it's understandable that you start making connections that may or may not be there. So yeah, you gotta do some planning and boundary planning for sure.
But if you feel uncomfortable, I think go with your gut that this is uncomfortable. Nothing bad happens because you're more cautious or you lay out this boundary.
Correct.
Right. Well, we appreciate your questions, Stranger Danger. Please keep us posted. And if any of our listeners have faced similar challenges, we'd love to hear about it. Drop us a line at momanddad@slate.com or leave us a voicemail at 646-357-9318. And that is our show. Please subscribe, leave a rating and review, and tell your friends. That helps us grow our little community. This episode of Mom and Dad Are Fighting is produced by Rosemary Belson and Maura Curry. Shasha Leonard is the voice of our listeners. Alicia Montgomery is VP of Slate Audio. For Elizabeth Newcamp and Zach Rosen, I'm Jamilah Lemieux. Thank you for listening.
Hey, drag fans, please listen up.
I'm Alaska.
And my name is Willem.
And we are the hosts of Race
Chaser,
the premier and preeminent RuPaul's Drag Race recap podcast. And if you aren't listening to this podcasting behemoth yet, start right now.
Because it's 2023 and we have weekly coverage of the all-new episodes from the season 15 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Every Wednesday, we will discuss, dissect, and disseminate all of the juiciest moments, wildest runway looks, and the shadiest reality TV twists of the best show on television, Drag Race.
Race Chaser with Alaska and Willem is the ultimate backstage pass for both drag obsessives and new fans alike. So don't wait. Find us on your podcast apps and listen.
Check out new episodes of Race Chaser every Wednesday and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you.